Okay, thanks. I just want to remember what I signed. So, okay. So, I apologize. I mean, a little bit. Eight. Here's a copy of the proposed policy and procedures for the planning commission. Bryce and Jessica, or Sheldon and Jessica, let me get here. Okay. All right, so I thought we could just kind of read through. Most cities have an internal policy and procedures that will govern the planning commission, and in our ordinance. Under 10.5B3 says the planning commission may adopt policies and procedures and bylaws consistent with this ordinance for the conduct of its meetings, the processing of applications, and for any other purposes considered necessary for the functioning of the planning commission. So part of the reason we decided to do this is in this new subdivision ordinance, you guys remember it talks about a technical review committee, and not just that, but that as the land use authority, planning commission has to delegate certain responsibilities to different people or entities.
Right.
So in the very first section of this, that's what it addresses. And I thought maybe we would just use this time to kind of read through this and see what you guys think. Some of these things, I went through multiple cities' policies and procedures and pulled everything that's in here was pulled from what other cities have. And so I thought we would just kind of look at it and see what you guys think. And if there's any changes you want to make. So that we have something to govern what we do.
Look at the numbers.
Okay.
We really want the planning commission to be the ones. People that page forms and the information up to date, or should that be?
So
Staff.
So this comes from the actual subdivision ordinance that they have to prepare from the state code. But if you look at the last sentence there, they shall be delegated to the support staff who will consult with the chair. So each one of these things, let's go through them and see if you guys are comfortable with delegating it to who it's mentioned here. So the commission shall act on all planning matters that arise within the jurisdiction of Hooper City as required or permitted by Utah Code or Hooper City ordinances. In fulfilling its role as the land use authority, the planning commission is responsible for the following, but may delegate any task to the technical review committee or other city staff. So rendering a land use decision on all subdivision applications and petitions under 10-8 or 10.8. This shall remain under the jurisdiction and authority of the planning commission, because we are the decision-making body, so. Yeah, unfortunately. Reviewing all applications under chapter 10.8 in an impartial manner and according to the standards and deadlines described in the chapter. This shall be performed by the planning commission, support staff, and the TRC. So that's something that all of us will be responsible for in reviewing the documentation that comes in. Providing feedback to applicants in the manner required by the chapter. This shall be delegated to the support staff. We aren't corresponding with anybody. Scheduling and holding a pre-application meeting with potential applicants as requested. That should say this will be delegated to the support staff with consulting with the chair, so that we all are on the same page.
Okay.
Sorry, I missed that. Okay.
Well, you can almost take 5 out and just leave 6, because 6 is scheduling pre-application meetings.
Maybe that's not if I duplicate that. Scheduling a pre-application meeting shall be executed by the support staff who will consult with the chair. Pre-application meeting notifications and invitations shall be provided to the applicant and the TRC by the support staff. I think you're right.
Just take out 5.
The only thing you'd want to put in is as requested. So as long as you put in as requested in 6, we just want to make sure that, it's the applicant's discretion.
Okay, keep subdivision application forms and related informational material up to date and publicly accessible and distributing such forms and materials to potential applicants. This will be delegated to the support staff who will consult with the chair. Providing notice to entities and parties as required in chapter 10-8, this shall be delegated to the support staff. Signing application and petition approvals as required in chapter 10-8. I think that the chair is the one that has to sign those, but I'm not sure. I think that's what they've done in the past.
No, we can look into it though.
Ensuring that documents are properly recorded with the county as required in 10-8. This shall be delegated to the support staff. And later on, it defines what the support staff is.
Okay.
The delegation of the items in this section are able to be changed by majority vote of the planning commission without needing to go before the city council. So this is something that, because of what the state law reads, as the land use authority, we have to delegate these things. City council can't be involved in this part of it. The membership and appointment of the planning commission shall be governed by the provisions of the Utah Code and the provisions of the Hooper City Code. So this is different. All members, including the chair, shall be entitled to one vote on all matters properly brought before the commission for action.
Didn't think you could vote.
Well, you can vote. There's nothing in our ordinance that says you can't. And the mayor had talked to Mary earlier this year about the chair having a vote. So when I looked into it, a lot of cities do have their chair vote for the planning commission.
Okay.
So I want to get your opinion, because then we would have 5 voting members. There would never be a tie situation if we did that.
Yeah, that was brought up in that joint meeting with the planning commission, city council and planning commission said no, they didn't want that changed. So that would have to be something that would be changed in the code with it.
I don't think we have a code that says one way or the other right now.
Yeah, we do.
So do you know where that's at? Because I couldn't see
I
anything.
don't, because when I used to that before, because I brought that up in the meeting. And you don't remember that meeting we had, it was like in January. and I
Yeah,
brought
it was with Mary, because you said, Mary, you can have a vote if you want one.
Yeah, and we said, no, in ours right now, it says they don't, because I wanted to see it. So that would have to be something that we have to do discuss with the city council.
But yeah, if we can find where that's at, and Mary, then I'll reference it in here, so, because I didn't see that in there, but. Okay, so, the terms of membership shall be as set forth in the Hooper City ordinances. Appointment of chair and vice chair. The planning commission during the first regular meeting in the new calendar year and at other times as required shall elect a chair and vice chair from the duly appointed members of the commission by the majority vote of the total membership. To serve a term of 1 year, the members of the commission shall nominate one of their members as chair and one of their members as vice chair. The chair and vice chair may serve consecutive terms. Chair. Duties. The chair shall serve as the presiding officer of the commission and shall preside at all meetings of the commission, providing general direction for the meetings, assuring proper order of the commission and public in all proceedings. Such duties shall include announcing the business before the commission in the order in which it is to be acted upon. If you guys have questions on anything, stop me. Okay. See, receiving and submitting in the proper manner all motions and propositions presented by the members of the commission. Putting to a vote all questions which are properly moved or necessarily arise in the course of proceedings and to announce the result thereof. Informing the commission, when necessary or when referred to for that purpose, on any point of order or practice, in the course of discharge of this duty, the chair shall have the right to call upon legal counsel for advice. Maintaining order at the meetings of the commission. Moving the agenda along, holding down redundancy, referencing handouts and procedures in a sensitive way during meetings. Recognizing speakers prior to receiving comments and presentations of physical evidence, such as plans and pictures. And receiving documents or other physical evidence as part of the record. It shall be the duty of the chair to authenticate by signature when necessary or when directed by the commission, all of the acts, orders, and proceedings of the commission. The chair may rule out of order any comment which is irrelevant, personal, or not pertinent to the matter being heard. The chair may designate members of the commission to make specific studies and reports or personal observation of property and land uses when necessary for proper consideration of agenda items. No more than 2 commission members shall gather on any such assignment at the same location and time. Otherwise, open meeting rules will apply. One thing that I thought would be nice about this is that if we have a situation like, for instance, we've been trying to tackle the allowed uses and fines and fees. If we decided, okay, Bryce, why don't you look at the commercial? like, why don't you look at residential or whatever, something so that we each have kind of an assignment so that when we come together, we can share what we've learned. That doesn't mean you can't look at other areas, but I just think it will be more efficient if we each kind of, in certain situations like that, if we each have a section that we're over so that we can really look at it thoroughly.
Sure.
Instead of trying to swallow the whole thing and then come and go through it in an hour's time or less. So what are your thoughts on that?
That's a good idea.
Coordinate with the support staff to provide an agenda for each public meeting and timely reports and other relevant information to the commission. Execute all official documents and letters of the commission. Identify and bring before the commission such policy matters as are within the purview of the commission. Call for and coordinate with the commission and support staff to provide meetings outside of regular meetings as needed. The chair may create subcommittees as deemed necessary. Members of subcommittees shall be commission members. Subject to these rules and further instructions from the commission, the chair shall direct the official business of the commission, interface with the mayor in the conduct and affairs of the commission, request needed staff assistance from the support staff or the city council, and exercise general management direction of the affairs of the commission. Vice chair duties. The vice chair shall assist the chair in all necessary capacities. During the absence of the chair, shall have and perform all the duties and functions of the chair, and identify and bring before the commission such policy matters as are within the purview of the commission. Temporary chair duties. In the absence or incapacity of both the chair and the vice chair for a commission meeting, the members present at the meeting shall elect a temporary chair to serve as presiding officer only for that meeting. In such event, the temporary chair shall have all the powers and perform the functions and duties herein assigned to the chair of the commission. Support staff duties. The city planner and city recorder shall be the support staff of the commission. The support staff and shall digitally record all meetings, make recordings available to the public within 7 business days, take written minutes, and post all agendas and meetings activities as required by Utah Code. The support staff under the direction of the chair shall prepare an agenda for each commission meeting. Order of the business on the agenda shall be specified by the chair and or city planner. The support staff shall send an agenda to the members of the commission. There will be 5 voting members of the planning commission. And that's on that same theme where we need to check and see if our ordinance says. Conduct of members of the commission. Addressing members. Commission members shall be addressed as commissioner or Mr. or Ms. and their last name. Preparation. Members of the commission shall take such time as necessary to prepare themselves for hearings and meetings. Members should read and study the agenda, staff reports, and all attached documents prepared by the support staff so that they are fully informed about each application prior to the scheduled commission meeting. If members visit a site or have familiarity with the site, they should disclose any observations. Attendance. Every member of the commission shall attend the meetings of the commission unless duly excused or unless unable to attend because of extenuating circumstances. Any member desiring to be excused shall notify the chair and the support staff. If a member of the planning commission is absent from 3 consecutive regular meetings or 4 regular meetings within a calendar year without being excused by the chair may recommend to the city council that the member be removed from the commission for cause. A member may be removed from office by an affirmative vote of the majority of the city council. And it's already in the code. Mandatory orientation and training. Planning commission shall complete training as required by Utah Code, gives the reference. A newly appointed member may not participate in a public meeting as an appointed member until the member completes the training as required by Utah Code and meets with the commission chair and support staff to review, among other things, the Hooper City Planning Commission policies and procedures, Hooper City General Plan, and the handbook for planning commissioners and land use authorities published by the Utah League of Cities and Towns. New members should also become familiar with Title 10 and any other applicable city ordinances. Failure to comply with these provisions may result in recommendation of removal of the member from the commission. All members should attend additional training scheduled from time to time by the support staff. Support staff will notify planning commission members of training opportunities and keep track of mandatory training requirements and fulfillment of requirements by members of the commission. The orientation and training will be completed within 60 calendar days of appointment and reported to the commission chair. Conflict of interest. Hello. A planning commission member with a conflict of interest in a matter before the commission shall state that such a conflict of interest exists and withdraw from participation in the public hearing. We're on page 4, item E. Shall state that such a conflict of interest exists and withdraw from participation in the public hearing, work session, or regular meeting on such matter. A member of the planning commission who feels he or she or any other member of the commission may have a conflict of interest on any matter that is on the commission agenda shall explain the possible conflict to the commission. The commission shall then vote to decide whether an actual, apparent, or reasonably foreseeable conflict of interest does exist, and whether the commissioner should withdraw from participation in voting. If a commissioner has a conflict of interest, that person shall not participate in the discussion and voting on the matter, nor attempt to use his or her influence with other commissioners before, during, or after the meeting. A commissioner who has a conflict of interest shall leave the commission chamber during the time in which the matter in question is being discussed and voted upon. No member of the planning commission shall participate in the discussion of an application or vote on any application for any action when any of the following conditions exist. Any of the following have a direct or substantial financial interest in the proposal. Members of the planning commission or the member's father, mother, husband, wife, son, daughter, sister, brother, grandfather, grandmother, uncle, aunt, nephew, niece, grandson, granddaughter, first cousin, mother-in-law. You know what I'm saying, without reading all of those, not me too, I will. Or any other close family relation or person living within the same household. Any business in which the member is then serving or has served within the past 2 years, or any business with which the member is negotiating for or has an arrangement or understanding concerning prospective partnerships or employment, or for any other reason, the commission has determined that participation in the decision cannot be in an impartial manner. Disclosure of potential conflicts of interest. Whether or not he or she is disqualified, a public official shall disclose any potential conflicts of interest as required by state law. Ex parte communications. No member of the commission shall have any ex parte discussion regarding any administrative land use application or rezone application pending before the commission. Ex parte communication means any communication, including but not limited to electronic or social media communication with interested parties of an administrative land use application or rezone application pending before the commission prior to the commission reaching a final decision. An administrative land use application means any land use application whereby Utah Code or Hooper City Ordinance, the commission is the final decision maker. A rezone land use application means any land use application whereby Utah Code or Hooper City Ordinance, the city council is the final decision maker. Anyone speaking to commissioners on administrative matters should do so at a regular meeting, so their comments, concerns, and evidence are on the public record. Communications regarding legislative matters are generally permitted. Planning commission members shall reveal any pre-meeting or ex parte contacts with regard to administrative matters at the commencement of the public meeting on the matter. Prearranged private meetings between the planning commissioner and applicants, their agents, or other interested parties are prohibited. Partisan information on an application received by a planning commissioner, whether by mail, telephone, or other communication, should be made part of the public record. If such contacts have impaired the member's impartiality or ability to vote on the matter, the member shall so state and shall abstain. Commission members may be disqualified from voting whenever any applicant or their agent has sought to influence the vote, or the commission member on their application or petition, other than in the public hearing meeting, through communication directly with a commission member about issues in the application without the knowledge of the other commission members. Communication with planning staff members is not an ex parte contact and is allowed.
So you saying that nobody that you're saying up here in A or B, that if somebody was to contact one of us to ask, hey, what's my next step? You don't want us to.
If they've already made application, they should be contacting the city staff or the city planner to do that. It protects them and it protects us because it just doesn't look right to the public if we're having private meetings on somebody that's already made application.
More if they haven't.
Then it's different. They can come in for consent meeting, things like that. But once a formal action has been taken, my understanding is then they look at it differently. Am I understanding that correctly?
As far as if they take formal, I would say that against our.
Sorry.
Yeah.
If they've already made application, it's different than if somebody, knows you're on the planning commission and says, hey, I was thinking about doing something like
Oh,
this.
yeah, I mean, in the sense that then you have a formal item that's going to be coming before you versus just some random thought somebody has. I mean, it probably is more within the scope of, this will obviously maybe coming before me for a vote versus just some neighbor that you see at the park says something. So.
They give ideas just to be transparent so that when we make a decision, the public is aware of what we're using to make that decision. It's not,
Yeah.
you know, if that makes sense. But if we can talk to the city staff, that's not considered an issue. And if it's a legislative theme that we're discussing, not an administrative theme of legislation that's already in place, then that's okay too. But if we're actually administering it on an application or something like that, then we shouldn't be talking to the applicant about it. So I guess if it's just like a generic question asking, that's a little bit different than as pertains to their specific application. Planning commissioners, planning commission members wishing to give comment. A member who desires to make comment at a meeting as a citizen may do so only after declaring intent to comment, abstaining from voting on the proposal, and vacating the seat and physically joining the audience. Before commenting, the commission members shall make full disclosure of his or her status and position at the time of addressing the planning commission, and disclose that the person is commenting as an interested member of the public and not in his or her capacity as a member of the commission. Upon commenting, the member shall leave the commission chamber during the time in which the matter in question is being discussed and voted upon. If a member is an applicant, he or she can fully participate in the matter. Gifts and favors. Gifts and favors standards are found in Utah Code 67-16-5. No public officer or employee shall knowingly receive, accept, take, seek, or solicit directly or indirectly any gift, compensation, or loan for themselves or another if it tends to influence them in the discharge of duties. Exceptions to this are an occasional non-pecuniary gift having a value of less than $50 or an award publicly presented in recognition of public service. Treatment of information. Reports and official records of a public planning agency must be open on an equal basis to all inquiries. Planning advice should not be furnished to some unless it is available to all. All reports in an official meeting agenda are public information. Political activity. Membership in a political party and contributions to its finances or activities are matters of individual decision that should neither be required of nor prohibited to planning commissioners. The extent of participation in political activities should be governed by professional judgment as well as limited by any applicable civil service law or regulation. The special position of a planning commissioner should not be used to obtain contributions or support for a political party and should not be used to obtain partisan favors. Resignations, generally and by absence. When members propose to resign, if reasonably feasible, they shall give written notice of their intent to the mayor, chair, and support staff and make the date of resignation effective in such a manner as to allow time for appointment of replacements. When a member's term of service is complete, whether through death, resignation, or removal, including resignation by absence, the mayor shall promptly indicate to the city council that a vacancy exists. When a member becomes incapacitated for office permanently or for what appears likely to be a protracted period, or moves from the jurisdiction, or becomes for any other reason no longer qualified for office and fails to resign, the chair shall cause any necessary investigation to be made and shall present the facts to the mayor, who may declare to the city council the office vacant and appoint a replacement with the advice and consent of the city council. All terms of planning of members of the, terms of office. All terms for members of the planning commission shall be 4 years and until their successors are appointed and qualified by completing mandatory training and orientation. Exceptions to a 4-year term may apply where appointments to a shorter term is necessary to fill a prematurely vacated position. Standing members may be appointed to serve additional terms when they have expressed a desire to do so and are recommended by the mayor and voted upon by the city council. Meetings. Place. Meetings of the commission shall be held in the Hooper City Council chamber room in the Hooper City building address. If the chamber is not available on those dates, then the meeting may be held in another room of the Hooper City building or at other such place in Hooper City as the commission may designate. A meeting having been convened at the place designated may be adjourned by the commission to any other place within Hooper City for the sole purpose of investigating some particular matter of business, which may be more conveniently investigated at such other place. Regular meetings. Regular meetings are meetings that are preset on the calendar covering an entire year, where the planning commission meets to discuss and act on both administrative and legislative matters pertaining to the use of land and related issues. Regular meetings of the Hooper City Planning Commission shall be held on the second Thursday of each month at 7 p.m. The date of the regular meeting may be changed by the majority of the total membership of the Planning Commission, provided at least 1 week notice is given each member of the new date of a regular meeting. Public hearings. Public hearings are meetings set aside to receive and hear verbal input on the position of citizens regarding specific topics, applications affecting the city. A public hearing may be scheduled during a regular commission meeting. Work meetings, that's supposed to say field trips, I'll fix it. Work meetings are time set aside for the planning commission, other city officials, staff and citizens to come together to collaborate, offer up ideas, conduct research, and or discuss important issues that need more in-depth study before they are brought forward for finalization and approval. Work meetings of the Hooper City Planning Commission will be held on the second Thursday of each month, prior to regular commission meetings at the hour of 6:30 p.m. Additional and extended work meetings and field trips may be held as determined by the majority vote of the planning commission members or the planning staff in correlation with the chair in order for the commission to discuss matters at greater length or to obtain additional background information. The commission shall take no vote during such work meetings or field trips, except to give directions to the staff regarding the presentation of options for future consideration. The commission may also discuss and render decisions on policy issues, legislative issues, and administrative matters. Special presentations, reports, and updates from the support staff that do not require a decision may also be made. During the work meeting, there shall be no discussion of any completed application. This is the part Malcolm and I were talking about too. Do we want this in here? So during the work meeting, there shall be no discussion of any completed application, either administrative or legislative, that is scheduled for the regular meeting. So that would mean when we get together for our work meetings, whatever's on our agenda for that work meeting or for that regular meeting, we would not discuss in the work meeting. Trying to figure out why that would be. The only thing I can think of is that when you notice this to the public, they see what's on our regular meeting on the agenda, but they don't know what we're talking about in the work meeting. So a lot of times we have pretty in-depth discussions.
They get here at 7.
Yeah. They don't get part of that. So we don't have to do that. That's just what some of the other cities have done. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's part of why we have the work meeting, so that we look at the application, and we understand as a body what they're attempting to bring before us, you know, and if we have questions, then when we get in a regular meeting, say, hey, in our work meeting, we noticed this.
Yeah.
So please explain this.
Well, and I think I haven't noticed now, I mean. It does say discussion on agenda items, so I mean, remember the public, I think fairly learned that's what you're doing. And they can show up, they can't participate, but they
Right.
can show up and.
It's recorded.
just listen to
They're
it.
live now too. So.
Yeah. Now that we put them- So what do you think? Keep it, or don't put that part in there?
I wouldn't, because I think that's why we have the work meetings. Right.
I'm fine with whatever.
The other problem is it's so hard for you guys. By design to talk about things without having a meeting.
Yeah.
If you implemented that. It would be difficult for you to have any kind of discussion about items outside of the regular meeting. Unless you've got the special meeting, but if you're gonna do a work meeting anyway. Anyway, I guess that's what I'm getting at, is it's very difficult for you guys to talk about business outside of one of these meetings.
I agree, and I think you made a good point where it's on the agenda, discussion of items on the agenda for the work meeting. I think that covers us as far as that. Members of the public may attend but will not participate unless invited to do so by the chair. Special meetings. A special meeting is a meeting that is not in the sequence of meetings. A work meeting.
Is this special meeting? So like with this new legislation. We only have a certain amount of days, so there's a possibility we could have 2 commission meetings during the month,
Yeah,
because we gotta act fast.
I think that's what's gonna fall under this.
Special meetings.
Because this should say, in that second sentence, that work should say special. A special meeting is typically called for in order to address issues of action or actions that were not completed at a regular meeting or for urgent matters needing attention.
Okay.
Special meetings may be called by the chair or support staff with the consent of the chair at any time, provided that a preferred 72 hours notice, minimum of 24 hours notice is given to each member of the commission before the meeting is held, and notice is given as required by Utah code. Matters considered. Any matter pertaining to the affairs of the planning commission and within the authority and jurisdiction of the commission may be considered and acted upon at any regular meeting of the commission. Attendance. The commission meeting will be open to the public to attend in the Hooper City Building in the council room. Meetings will also be broadcast electronically when possible for the public to view. Discussion. Beyond the time allotted for each segment of the agenda, the commission has the latitude to discuss amongst themselves important issues and matters that may reflect on public comment, public hearings, action items, action item applications, or any other matter that relates to land use or the duties of the planning commission. Any member of the commission or staff, upon recognition by the chair, may direct any questions or comments to those speaking at the podium, applicants, witnesses, or any person speaking from the audience to bring out pertinent facts. Quorum. 3 members of the commission shall constitute a quorum thereof for the transaction of all business, except for unanimous consent of all members is required. An abstaining or disqualified member of the planning commission shall not be counted as if present for procedure, or sorry, as if present for purposes of performing a quorum, except as otherwise specifically provided in these policies and procedures. The majority vote of the commission members present at a meeting shall be required and shall be sufficient to transact any business before the commission. If a quorum is not present, the chair shall call the meeting to order, announce the lack of a quorum, and adjourn the meeting. Open meetings law. All meetings of the planning commission shall be open to the public. All meetings of the planning commission shall be noticed in conformance with the requirements of the open public meetings law stated in the law. Length of meetings. I want your opinion on this. The regular commission meeting will begin at 7 p.m. and end at 9 p.m. unless all agenda items are completed prior to 9 p.m. or the meeting is scheduled otherwise. At 9 p.m., the planning commission will finish the item presently being considered within 10 minutes. No additional items will be heard after that time unless there is a motion by a member of the commission and a majority vote to extend the meeting. All items remaining to be heard will be forwarded to the next regular meeting agenda for continued consideration. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's good to have a timetable, but that just goes back to when we set the agenda up. The staff, I guess, needs to look at the items that they want to put on the agenda and say, what? So we've got 7 items, you know, we can get through them. So they're gonna have to make the decision to say, oh, we're gonna hear these 4.
Well,
Help us.
I think it would help that, you know, like when we've had ones like, you know, the well or the treatment
Yeah.
facility,
Yeah.
those go on forever. And so we have the jurisdiction and authority to impose time limits, whether, you know, we say, okay, we're gonna hear a public comment and it's gonna go for 20 minutes.
Well,
Or-
yeah.
But you want people to feel like they're heard
I was
too.
gonna say,
So-
you don't want people to come in and say, well, it's 8:50. And we only got 10 minutes. That was a waste of our time, you know. Cause you want them to be able to be heard, everybody that wants. You know.
So what do you guys think is a way to compromise on that so that our meetings aren't going for 4 or 5 hours? What are some things that you've seen other cities do? That's where I got this from because there were several cities that had.
I know, well, the only one I know of for sure that started putting an end time was, I want to say it was Kaysville a couple years back. They implemented the 10 p.m. stop on their city council meetings because they just ended up going forever. But I don't know, I guess similar feelings like to what was already mentioned. I mean, on the one hand, you don't want to be here till midnight, but I feel like you already, on the other hand, have the authority at any meeting to say, hey, let's shut this down for the night and to table it out. So in some ways, doing something like this kind of locks you into a corner as well, where you may want to take some more time.
It does let us.
Is there a way to have a soft close?
Well, I mean, it does say that it can be extended if somebody makes the motion and then the commission says, okay.
I mean, you could have a general idea of what you're looking to shut the meeting down at this time, but we all understand we can. Right in the middle of, like, for example, the well discussion. And you just want to get it done, you don't want to kick the thing off and do the whole thing again, and hey, let's go till 10 and get it done.
Well, and it
Yeah.
talks about redundancy in here and trying to keep that. Like, if you have we want your voice to be heard, but if it's something that has already been communicated.
Yeah, so you can try to guide that a little bit as you're going through, but
And we've done that a few times, saying,
typically I think it works too. That's the other thing, that was the other thought I was having was, I don't know if it's necessarily been a huge problem here yet. I know some of this is prospective planning, but I don't know that I remember a meeting even that I can think of that where it was just like out of control, even the well, that's the one I think that generated the most comment recently. After a minute, when people started repeating themselves, it kind of ended by itself.
Yeah.
Because it was just
Well, we'd already had the public hearing, and then when they came back, we said, all right, we've already had a public hearing.
That helps too.
If you have something new to add on information that's been presented, we're gonna go for 20 minutes, but
Yeah, so those are kind of things you can do already. And so on the one hand, I don't actually think it's a bad idea to have a goal in mind on how long these meetings go, but. On the other hand, I don't think you want to lock yourself into a situation where you're feeling bound by that.
so maybe if we say. Regular commission meeting will begin at 7 PM with the goal of ending at 9 PM or something like that.
Whatever you want to put, I mean, is your goal, I think that's. A good idea, but just say for sure that shuts it down, and there may be things, there may be people that, I mean, there may be an item, you know, quite got to. They really, I mean, I don't just hypothetically, some conditional use permit, and they're really wanting to get that thing going.
I think we've done well in the past, but we've seen items at the bottom and said, hey, you know what, these are gonna take less time, let's.
You can do those kind of things too, and move them
Let's
around.
move.
Yeah, and it does talk like, on here, order of business, the order of business of the regular meeting shall follow the noticed agenda. The chair, with the consent of the commission by a majority vote or upon recommendation of the support staff, may consider matters out of the agenda order. So it still gives us the flexibility, even in the one before, that we can vote and extend the meeting if we want to past 9 o'clock. But I think it might help to communicate that this is where. This is what we're planning on. I don't know. There've been a few meetings where it seems like it's just stretched on and we haven't been able to get to other pertinent business because of that. So, and I agree with you, Blake, that up front, we need to make sure that there's not too many things that we put on the agenda that could cause that. Okay, decisions. A matter for decision will be placed before the commission by motion made by any commission member present at the meeting. The chair shall vote but shall not make motions before the commission except in the absence of response from other members to an invitation by the chair that a motion on a pending matter would be in order. And that did happen on the treatment facility when Sheldon was chairing. Nobody made the motion, so.
But it says here, the chair shall vote too, so.
But they can't make a motion unless nobody else will make a motion.
I don't know where that's at, that the chair can't vote.
I don't.
Because I
it's
mean,
in- I've
10.5B powers and duties. And also. Establishment, the whole 10.5, I don't guess I was, digging deeper. There was nothing in that said,
I looked thoroughly and I didn't find anything, but if there is something, then.
I think, and I could look, yeah, but I think it's something that we've done. And so we can definitely look into whatever policies and stuff that you want to do, but.
Let's see. Any member may second a motion. A majority vote by the present members in favor of a motion shall carry the motion. All such decisions of the commission shall be made at a public meeting by a motion and second and by a voice vote. The motion shall be in the form of findings of fact and shall state the reason for the findings by the commission. And I think this is important, especially where we're going to be looking at a lot of these subdivision applications as the land use authority on it. When we make a decision, or if we make an approval or a denial, I think we need to state what's supporting us in making that decision, because it's not supposed to be off of feeling, it's supposed to be off of facts. So we're denying it because this, and this, and I just think we need to be really clear about that so that we don't get ourselves into trouble. The motion shall be in, let's see, read that. And shall state the reason for the findings by the commission and a statement of any conditions or safeguards or requirements to be attached to the action. If there's any ambiguity on any vote, or if the nature of the application or petition warrants, the chair may conduct a roll call vote for a clear vote of aye or nay. Notification. Notice of the commission decision shall be documented in writing and given to the applicant or petitioner and to other interested parties who have requested such notice by the support staff as soon as reasonably possible after the decision is reached, but within 10 business days. Such notice shall include a copy of the complete findings of fact and conclusions of law and conditions adopted by the commission in reaching its decision. Appeals. Appeals by the applicant or any affected party to administrative decisions shall be directed to the appropriate appeal authority as indicated by Hooper City Code. Advisory recommendations of the commission cannot be appealed as they will be heard by the city council. Amendment. Applicants, petitioners, or their authorized individuals or agents may amend applications or petitions in any lawful manner or written request delivered to the support staff not less than 10 business days prior to the scheduled public meeting to assure that the amendment is properly evaluated and addressed in the staff report. Amendments received less than 10 business days before the public meeting may not be evaluated and made part of the staff report. The staff shall orally report to the commission at the public meetings the nature of any amendments received less than 10 business days before the meeting. The commission shall determine whether the nature of the amendment is such as to require referral for examination by council or having staff having made reports on the original application or petition. If such referral is found necessary, the commission may proceed with the meeting or may continue it to a date, time, and place specified, but shall not decide on the matter until the commission has received sufficient information and analysis to make a finding that the amendment would not create a substantial difference in the effect of the application or petitions. Deferrals or continuances on its own motion or at the request of applicants, petitioners, or their authorized individuals or agents. The commission may defer the meeting of applications or provide for later continuance of applications on which meetings have begun. Such deferrals or continuances shall be permitted only for good cause stated in the motion, and unless time and place are stated, shall require new public notice. An applicant shall be allowed to request one continuance for good cause shown. If additional deferrals or continuances are at their request, new fees shall be paid by applicants or petitioners. And then this is our regular meeting procedure.
Okay.
This is the same as what we do right now. But you can read through that and see. And then let's see. One of you did it, one of you get the pledge. Before we. Eeny, meeny, miny, prayer.
That's
Oh, we
fine.
need the pledge. Is that all right? So
I'm still requiring. Name, city, right?
yes, well, and it's funny, every other city that I looked at, their planning commission policies and procedures had them state their name and address. But I just put name and city of residence, because if that, if we're worried about, I don't.
Yeah, and it's no legal requirement that anybody state where they're from or anything like that. I think it's just a common thing that happens
Yeah.
all around. But I tend to agree about not throwing your,
Yeah.
sort of throwing your address out there. I don't know why that makes a difference to you guys.
As long as you know what city
I think that
I think
helps you
that's the
understand
big-
if they are a resident or not a resident. I think that's what.
it is. Okay, well, we probably should move up there because we've got 5 minutes. There's only 3 pages left, so.
I'll
It
take a
talks-
look at it
Okay.
too, and just kind of you know, up against the code and stuff.
Okay, awesome. That new subdivision. Next. The requirements of the commission use orders. Just see how that. John. There's.
Yes, on both of them.
Thing fighting me on that.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock, so we will go ahead and get started with our county commission meeting. We want to welcome everybody out. Today is Thursday, December 12th, and we need to excuse Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Rayner is on his way, said he should be here in about 20 minutes. He had an emergency he needed to attend to, so. We will go ahead and get started. We are going to have a pledge of allegiance by Commissioner Severing and a reverence by Commissioner Whitson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Well, I'm grateful to be here tonight, grateful for this time of year and the holiday season. Grateful for our community, for our country and the freedoms that we enjoy. Grateful for those who serve and protect our country and our community. We pray for them and their families. Pray that we can have a good meeting tonight. We ask that we can try to understand each other and be kind and show up to each other. Pray for all we have and say this in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, our first item of business is a consent item on the approval of the minutes dated November 14th, 2024. Commissioners, have you had a chance to review those minutes? And you notice anything that needed to be changed?
No.
All right. I will entertain a motion on the approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the planning commission minutes for the meeting on November 14th at 7 p.m. held at the Hooper City Center. For your talk.
I have a motion to approve the minutes from Commissioner Severing
I'll second.
and a second from Commissioner Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that passes. Now we will move on to our action items. And I need to also point out that, I've spoken with our legal counsel, and because there are only 3 members of the commission here, in order for something to carry forward, we would need a unanimous vote by all 3 members, so that something isn't decided just by 2. And like I had mentioned before, Commissioner Greener is on his way, so hopefully he'll get here soon before we get too far into this.
So, with that being said, all these,
all have.
Okay, so the first item is a conditional use permit request for JD and Angie Morel for an oversized structure totaling 2,158 square feet and an accessory dwelling unit totaling 953 square feet, located at 5183 South, 4950 West. We have a presentation by the staff.
Yeah. We got something. Sorry, our HDMI cord must have shot on us. Let me try one thing just real quick. Give me 1 minute. I'll just go off the laptop if we need to. We'll just have to move on without it. Oh, you're good. Might be it. I think so. I can do it. I'm home to get one. I'll just have to sit at the laptop here and kind of walk you through what we got, and then I'll hopefully get that figured out while you're working. So yeah, the first application after conditional use permit, you said it's JD and Angie Morel, located at 5183 South, 4950 West. We have a slideshow here just showing the total square footage of it's an ADU application. The total square footage of the structure is 2,158. Total square footage of the ADU is 953, and the height of the structure is going to be 18 feet. It's on 1.4 acres. We have a site plan here. I don't know if you guys have access to that same site plan. It's the hand-drawn one, the building it's got a north pointing up in the building in the back left corner. The setbacks were checked and are all aligned with those for a principal structure, this being an ADU. You'll notice the garage attached in the site plan there. Then you can turn to, we have a conceptual drawing here. Not sure if that was included in your packet, but there's a conceptual drawing as well. On this conceptual, you can see the building. There would be a garage on this that's shown in that site plan, but it'd be standard. And then the next slide just shows the layout of the ADU structure itself, totaling the 400 and some odd square feet that we mentioned. And so that was all aligned and had all the ADU required elements. So that's what we had for the ADU presentation for JD and Angie Morel.
it looks like the total square footage of the structure is 2,158 square feet. So am I understanding correctly, they're doing an oversized structure with an addition of an ADU as part of that?
That'd be correct. Well, yeah, that'd be correct in there.
So I don't.
What's
I don't
the,
see an
what's,
oversized structure application here, like, give us those details.
yeah, what's the oversized structure requirement in R1? Do you know off the top of your head? Probably 22,000? Is it 24? That would determine. Yeah, they'd be over then if it's 2,000. We can clarify that moving forward. Morgan was under the impression that in the past, when they did the ADUs, they would just fill out an ADU. For conditional use, and that generally covered the conditional use of the oversized structure. Morgan just mentioned that's how they did it in the past. I'm happy to have them fill out an oversized and accessory moving forward, if that's what the planning commission would like.
It should be had both in our packet when it's been both. Seems like they've had the oversized structure and then a conditional use as well that went along with that, just so we have all of the details that are included in the oversized structure. So like, you know, here we have the total height of the ADU is 18, but we don't know what the total height of the oversized structures, and some of those can get quite large, and so I
Yeah.
think we need, in order to make the.
Well, in that scenario, the ADU is the oversized structure, so the highest point of the ADU is the highest point of the structure in this one, but. Yeah, I'm just going off of what's been done in the past with ADUs, but if you guys feel like we need them, I felt like if we can pull applications up, but it seems like they're pretty well duplicate one another, but. Could be mistaken, there could be items for the oversized that are. Give you guys information that you need beyond the ADU portion.
So over the whole height of the whole thing is 18 feet.
Yeah.
As long as you make your motion to indicate that that's the height, and then there's an issue with it, they could come back and try to verify that, at least for this purposes.
So this picture that we have in here,
Yeah,
that's the oversized structure, or is that just the ADU?
that's the ADU.
That's what I'm wondering, is what does that oversized structure look like, where is it
If
going?
you go to that site plan, before it,
Mhm.
the portion next to it would be the garage, which
So
the garage and the ADU together would make an oversized structure.
So the 42 feet 4 inches by 35 feet 8 is the garage. And the 24 by 27 is the ADU.
That's correct.
No.
That was.
Oh, opposite, sorry. Yeah, it looks like the garage is the larger portion.
Yeah,
That's what you said.
the garage is 35 8 by 42 4.
No,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, she's saying, so the applicant is saying the ADU is the 35 8 42 4 and the garage is the 24 by 27.
That's the other thing, you could have the applicants tonight come up with clarify those questions, and you can place conditions on it that are applicable to both. And then
Well,
moving forward, we can decide.
if that's the case, then the
That's-
ADU is oversized, because it's 1,470 square feet, we only allow.
So if you look at if you look back at the drawing, this one here, sorry, I wish I had my slides. It shows that the ADU in their drawing is including the porch. And so when we redacted the porch, and you just see the square footage of those bedrooms, bedroom 1, 2, family room, kitchen, and it's that's where they pull their ADU size. So the porch on either end, is what's causing the total square footage to be beyond, but the actual dwelling space.
So take 15 feet off the 42 4.
Okay, you can math it up, but yeah, that's the idea, is that. Pulling those porches off and then just using the dwelling space, that's where they got their total for the. Let's see,
Well, if you approve it with the condition that requested, you're approving for 953, and then when they build it, they gotta stay with it.
Yeah, so the 953 square feet is just the living space minus the porches, right?
So. Because later in our packet, we have an application for an oversized structure. This addresses what the structure is gonna be used for, will any plumbing be installed in the structure, electricity? Will it be used for business? Like, there's some questions on here that aren't on our ADU application. So I don't know,
Does the ADU application not ask for plumbing, utility, electrical?
well, even if it did, it would only apply to the ADU and not the oversized structure, like, my understanding, there are two separate things that they're asking for, and so. I just. What are your thoughts? I feel like we need a complete application in order to make a decision so that we understand exactly what they're asking for.
I think you can ask that. I mean, I get what you're saying. I think if there are specific points you want to ask for tonight's, because I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to weigh that against the fact that we didn't go for anyone.
Yeah, and
And I don't want to be
it's
touching
not,
them
it's
either.
not their fault that the city staff gave them the wrong.
So I think what you could do for tonight's purposes, you could ask them those specific questions. It's going to be on the record. You can lock that in. If you want to have them post meeting, come in and actually file one of those signed so that you have it on the record in paper form too. And that's a little bit unorthodox, but I also think that Christ is a meeting in the middle based on circumstances.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for staff?
For staff,
Okay,
for the applicant, maybe.
okay. Is there anyone here representing Morales that would like to come up and tell us a little bit about these? Can you come up with just give your name and the resident?
That this isn't working. Doesn't
Hi,
make any sense.
Angie Morel, and I live in Hooper. Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your project, please?
Yeah, so we're just building a little ADU in the backyard, for our son. He's about to go to college and, can't afford to move out on his own, so that's why we're building it.
Okay, and so, and it's gonna be attached to this oversized structure, or just next to it, or are they two separate?
No, it's just that house, that picture that is in the package with a garage, a two-car garage attached to it. So we just added a garage. Yeah,
So how are they accessing? Is north up on this drawing you gave us? Nothing? So
More to
there's
the
the
right.
arrows.
north is to the,
Yeah.